Hey guys, Hikari here, and this chapter Black Clover was very insane. It seems that Yami most likely did Itachi his clan, but I do feel like he definitely didn't do this for just no reason at all. He definitely did it for a reason, but with that being said, let's just get right into the chapter this week. The chapter actually starts off with Ichika basically explaining that the members of the Yami clan descend from a group called the Kijin, and she mentions that these groups were kind of warmongers and they went around fighting demons supposedly across the battlefield, or just fighting many battles, and they were basically some war hungry people, and they seemed to be a very strong collective of people. She mentions that they were technically samurai and that they were entrusted with the protection of the land of the sun, and that there's supposedly 5 other provinces, or there's 5 provinces in total that kind of make up the entirety of the country, but they were the ones that belonged to the section that was actually owned by the Ryudo family. And since we are mentioning the Ryudo family, I do want to ask everybody that's watching this video to please subscribe to the channel, or you can 1v1 Ryuya. I personally wouldn't do this. He seems like a very strong and capable person, but you can go ahead and do whatever you want to. Getting back into the chapter though, we find out that there was actually a 5-headed dragon that was rampaging throughout the land of the sun, and it was appeased by a celestial maiden, and we don't get a lot more confirmation on this, but I guess there's some sort of celestial maiden that hails from the land of the sun, and they said that its Yoryoku actually seeped into the actual land itself, and it made it black and stagnant, or at least the sea was turned black and stagnant, and it caused a weird distortion in time, and it was almost compared to hell. So I think this is how we're going to get confirmation that there's some type of weird time thing going on here, with maybe time is slower in the land of the sun compared to everywhere else in the world, so they're kind of moving slower than everybody else, and this will explain how Asta will probably be able to train for a lot longer here than he would really be able to if he was back in the other country or back in the other land. So it seems like if you live in the land of the sun, time kind of slows down more compared to if you were living somewhere else like the Clover Kingdom, for example. So I think there's gonna be something really weird where Asta's gonna time skip himself forward, or he'll be way older, or a lot older than like he really would be, maybe by like even a year. He could train here for about a year and then come back to the Clover Kingdom and be just a year older than he really was, even though maybe only like 7 days passed by, since that's the amount of time that was given to Asta from Lucius. This kind of reminds me of when Ichigo did his training to learn the final Getsugo Tensho, and he was kind of in that weird time space where time was moving slower, and he came back and his hair was longer, he was a little bit older, and he was able to use the final Getsugo Tensho after training for a lot longer than he really was gone. So I feel like something similar is kind of going on here. We actually go backwards into the story, and I'm assuming this is about 17 years ago, where we see a 13-year-old Yami, and it seems that his dad was a very bad person. His dad is kind of fighting Yami off and saying, you know, you're supposed to be guarding the territory, you're supposed to be a Kijin just like us, you're supposed to be a part of this clan, this warmongering people, and Yami's basically saying, this is only something you would say. So Yami is not vibing with his dad right now. He doesn't believe in his ideals, and it seems that Yami doesn't want to be just a warmongering person. It also seems that Yami was mostly trying to save his little sister in this situation, and it seems that the father does not like the little sister, since he's even mentioning the fact that her eyes look very similar to what I'm assuming is her mother, and he goes in to try to strike Ichika, but Yami actually blocks the strike. And I guess this shows that Yami was kind of a sword prodigy even back when he was a kid, but it's a simple strike, but he is able to block it and help out his sister, so it definitely shows just how much he actually cares for her. It seems that Yami's father had some big plans for him in this situation, since he even mentions the fact that Yami's Yoryoku, which is basically his magic, might be more vast than that of the feudal lord's son, he says, and I'm assuming the feudal lord's son is going to be Ryuya, so he's basically saying that Yami mostly has a lot more potential than him, and I think this is very true. Yami has always had a lot of potential in the story, and we're seeing that really on full display in the past recent events, since we see Yami even has what is assumed to be a devil heart now, and I have a video actually that kind of goes over this, but he most likely is going to gain access to a lot of different devil powers and just even more potent dark magic right now in the story. So I can't wait for when we get Yami back in the story. But going back into the chapter, we see him actually leave out of the home. We see Yami leave out of the house, and they're going to the sea, and the sea really is black right now. It's like a black sea, but it seems like you're still able to kind of fish in it, since we get some panels of Yami actually catching a puffer fish, and everybody's mentioning the fact that it's kind of poisonous, it's not really good, but the parts that aren't poisonous are actually very good and very tasty, and that it's actually very cool of Yami to even be able to catch this fish. And they're mentioning the fact that Yami's a really good fisherman, so we kind of get more confirmation about his backstory, since when he came to the Clover Kingdom, he was kind of in full fishing attire. He had his fishing hook and he had everything like that, so we're kind of just getting a lot of confirmation that Yami's story that Tabata set up way long ago in the story is actually getting fully confirmed right now. We then actually see Ryuya pop up in the story, and he's actually seemingly very good friends with Yami right now. He's saying, hey, like, let me join you guys on the fishing trip. And they're saying, what are you doing, man? You're gonna get your outfit dirty. And he's like, I really don't care. I really don't care about any of that. I honestly just want to be in a country where everybody's able to kind of live together and not worry about status or anything like that. And we see Ichika actually smiling at this prospect, and it seems that she's very happy that he was even able to mention that, and she's able to kind of be with this person that's on a higher status, that he's able to be friendly with them and be friends and play around. But it seems like Yami is actually kind of very intrigued by this. He says that, it would actually be very cool if we could live in a country like that, and I like people that dream big like that. So it's kind of Yami more so kind of getting more characterization, since Asta said something very similar to Yami, and Yami fully believes in Asta right now. So it seems like Yami was always this type of person that believes in these, very high hopes of people. So it's very cool just seeing the characterization of Yami and seeing, that he was always like this, that he's always been a very good person. We then actually cut back to present time, and Ichika instantly says, his words were false. She actually believed him then, but his words were definitely false, and she explains why she thinks this, and she mentions the fact that he was very much like his own father. She says that he was just like him, and the fact that he actually murdered his entire clan, and we see a panel of everybody from the clan seemingly deceased, and we see that Yami's looking backwards towards her, and this is very much like the Itachi situation. So I definitely do think there's going to be a big explanation for why Yami did this, and I'm assuming it's more so to save Ichika. He was probably given an ultimatum, kind of just like Sasuke or Itachi was given for Sasuke, so he probably chose to sacrifice his clan to make sure that she was able to stay alive, since maybe they were going to target her to end her life, since we see that it wouldn't really probably be a big thing for them, since they're kind of a warmongering group of people. So it would make sense if they were going to end her life to kind of make Yami sort of stronger in that way, to kind of get rid of her from his life. But he probably decided it was better to have them taken out than have his sister taken out. And this is where we kind of get to the end of the chapter, where we see Asta very much battling with his ideal, or how he believes Yami really is, and we see his sister saying he's a different type of person. And this actually leads her to say that she saw it with her own eyes, that he was able to just slaughter her whole clan, and she then goes into battle mode. She says that in that case, we're going to resume your training, we're going to fight right now, and I'm not going to hold back, I'm going to go all out. And we see a beautiful transformation by her. We see a cool ability of hers, and it's called Dark Yojutsu, Dark Cloak Black Musha, and this is so cool. This is one of the greatest designs that Tabata's done, and I can't wait to see the next chapter to see what happens. But this is what was an amazing chapter, an amazing design, and I love the fact that we're getting more on Yami's story. Yami is such a fan favorite character, so to see more characterization for him and more story is honestly amazing, and I really love this chapter for what it did for the story and how much it pushed the narrative. But I do want to mention to everybody that made it to the end of the video right now to please like the video if you liked it, and subscribe, as it really does help me out, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys for sticking around and watching my videos. I honestly can't say how happy I am for everybody that watches it, and I really am thankful for all of it. Thank you for watching the video, and I'm out. Peace.